Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to House Party 5v5. It's our Premier League semifinals. These teams have been playing over the course of the last couple months. A giant LCS-style amateur gauntlet now down to the final 4 teams left standing. This is going to determine who's going to go to the grand finals 2 weeks from today to ultimately compete for Premier League victory. The teams that we've got squaring off are the current 2nd and 3rd ranked teams in the league. Of course, only 4 remain, so this is the middle of the pack game. It's Never Clucky in the blue versus Industrious Gaming over in the red. I'm Captain Flowers here on the casting desk, joined today by Fury Golem. And Fury, tell me what you think of this matchup. How's this one going to play out?
This one, it's Never Clucky versus IG. Now, this fight could go either way. Both of these teams have seen incredible success, only topped by Space Age Wizards in the standings. White Lightning and Space Age Wizards being the only other contenders in our top 4. They're in our next series of 3, starting at 6 Central. It is White Lightning is in 4th place with Never Clucky and Industrious Gaming 2nd and 3rd, and Space Age Wizards in 1st. Now, this game, 2nd and 3rd place, these guys, I think, are the most solid contenders. They have both not won as many games as Space Age Wizards, but I think whoever comes off of this is going to have the confidence and the momentum to take Space Age Wizards out in the final. These guys are crazy good. We are seeing the usual bans coming out for the most part. Nidalee and Quinn being the pickups that are most unusual. Nautilus, even post-nerf, still such a bully in the top lane. Malphite, ditto, nobody wants to deal with that. And of course, Alistar and Poppy, the consistency champions of patch 6 point whichever.
Now, one thing I'm looking forward to seeing is Never Clucky and IG have both been consistent, not only in their early games, but a lot of weaknesses for House Party 5v5 teams that have been demonstrated in the past is their ability to play on the macro level, their ability to make those shot-calling decisions in the late game, their ability to move as a unit and make plays and decisions as a team. And both of these squads have shown an ability to do that, to demonstrate that. And I think that's what a lot of this is going to come down to. We're not at the point where you're able to just outclass your opponent in lane anymore. These players are all good enough where one guy is not going to end up 6-0 coming out of lane phase because his opponent just kept goofing up over and over and over again. This is going to come down to who's able to play the macro game better, who's able to play really, really good League of Legends. And ultimately, I think that's going to determine who wins, those late game calls, those big 5 versus 5 decisions, and whoever makes those better decisions.
Absolutely. I mean, these are the top 4 teams are the teams that have performed as teams throughout the Premier League. Everyone's had their moment where they all came together as a team and rocked a game. But most of the time, the other teams that have fallen behind and are not in our semifinals are the teams that have really good players or players that go up, like really carry their team. Sometimes it's top lane, sometimes mid, sometimes it's bottom, jungle, whatever it happens to be. These are the teams that play as a team. And you can see it coming out in their picks and bans right off the top. Gragas, I know you hate this champion, Flowers, but he is a great team champion. He works really, really well for positioning if you coordinate well. Of course, Lucian, the standby champion for AD carries. Even post-nerfs, this guy is still incredibly strong and capable of doing some pretty good bullying. Fortunately, because of a couple patches ago, his opponent is not going to have to be Ezreal. We are going to see Kalista. It's not a huge diversity because we're basically just flipping back to 6.3 and previously where the Kalista-Lucian matchup is the typical one. But even so, a much more interactive lane. Going to be fun to watch. Janna, a nice pickup. Kalista's ability to reposition Janna for the Janna ults is also a really important team fight ability that they're going to have to coordinate very, very well if they want it to work right.
Now, I'm going to go ahead and just say it right now. Once again, my client's experiencing that lovely error where I can't actually see which champions are being locked in. So I'm watching on a little bit of delay, seeing which champions are being locked in, looking at the stream itself. So another thing that I want to go ahead and comment on is that during playoffs, sometimes we see a little bit of frantic roster swapping as teams have to make sure they're able to play for the full 3-hour time slot. Sometimes members aren't able to do that. And over on the side of IG, Fully Noided and Gordon Ramsay are still relatively new pickups. They're both very capable players. Fully Noided, one of the best 1v1ers in the top lane in House Party, period. The guy's very, very adept at being able to excel in that top lane. Gordon Ramsay, a very strong jungler. You might know him from YouTube. He's a pretty well-known guy, but he knows how to play his way in the jungle. But that being said, again, these guys haven't had an entire season of practice together. And looking over at Never Clucky, we're actually seeing these guys sitting in the same boat. They're running 2 subs today. So that's going to be a huge impact in this game, is who's able to actually have that team synergy down, who's able to work together and get that sort of cadence, that momentum with all of your team flowing sooner. Because if one team is really in sync with each other, if one team is really moving and working together because they finally adapted that synergy with all 5 players, and the others still getting used to what their new guys are going to be doing, what their new guys are going to be adapting to, what their new guys are going to be having tendencies towards.
I'm gonna let you finish, but that's a Rammus top lane.
Is fun. Fury, you're talking like Rammus top lane isn't meta now. Rammus top lane has been in the meta for a month.
No, it hasn't. It's been a sort of thing that people have done in the meta, but to see it coming out here, that surprises me.
You really don't think Rammus top lane has been in the meta for a while? I have seen this sucker in top lane constantly.
I guess I've just been having
ZZ Rot Portal. You just build these spam tanks in top that do nothing but build resistances. You split push PvE with the ZZ Rot Portal, then join in the fight and be just immaculately tanky. I'm not surprised at all to see the Rammus coming out. He's going to be a hell of a front line coming out for this Never Clucky team. Between him and Rek'Sai, that's going to be a lot of dive potential. That's going to be a big front wall that IG has to get through.
That is so weird. We must be playing in like completely different elos or whatever, because I have not seen a single Rammus top in like 25 games in the last week and a half.
I have seen them all over the place. I guess we're just queuing up in different regions. Fury must be queuing up on the Australia server on accident or something like that.
Oh, well, I'm going to get to see it now. And
exactly.
Hey, if this works, that is going to be great. If that can actually deal with a Fiora, that's perfect. Because you said Fully Anointed is a really great 1v1 player, and Fiora is an incredible 1v1 champ. If you get ahead in the top lane on Fiora, her ability to dominate is ridiculous. If Rammus can actually counter that effectively, that will be really nice to see. Now, her riposte is on a higher cooldown now, post-patches, but still, such a strong champion, particularly with that true damage, even against champions who stack armor like Rammus.
Now, that being said, taking a look at this top lane, Nerb on Rammus is a champion that's able to function on low econ. Fully Noted on Fiora is not. Fiora's not a champion you pick saying, I don't really care how laning phase goes, I'm always going to be relevant in these team fights. Fiora's got to have gold. She's got to have stats. She's got to be ahead in order to have that presence, and once she does have that lead, she's able to command it wonderfully. That being said, if she falls behind, she's not going to do anything in the fights compared to what Nerb's able to do, rolling in there, being so incredibly tanky, putting down so much AoE damage, and providing a lockdown threat onto enemy carries. So if Neverfrown decides to invest some time in shutting down Fully Noited, if the Never Clucky team as a whole decides they want to try to keep him out of the game and they're successful at doing it, that's going to be a real crutch that IG is going to have to learn to work around, because that's the risk you take picking Fiora. It's high risk, it's high reward.
I admit I'm a little hung up still on this Rammus thing. I really want this to work, because I love Rammus, and he's just been so not meta for so long. He's been this sort of pocket OP that a couple people swear up and down by, but hasn't really come out. To have him be a consistent player in the top lane would be so great for me. But setting aside that particular blind side that I just got, these teams are really going to be fun. We have the LeBlanc and the Ahri matchup in the mid lane, which is going to be dashes all over the place, particle effects, dashes, people killing each other. It's going to be great. Both of them are really great roam champions as well, which can really help with both of these junglers being very good enabling junglers, but not particularly damaging junglers. If you can get a roam in with both the mid and the jungler from either of these teams going bot lane, that could be a very successful dive.
Now, speaking of bot lane, both of these AD carries have the mobility and the damage to really make their mark in this game. And Lord Merc is somebody we've seen be massively successful on Lucian in the past. Lucian has been in the meta for a hot minute now. He's been one of those AD carries that can really take over things with his powerful lane bully potential. And when you pair him with somebody like Braum, this is the go-to lane for your opponents aren't allowed to have any fun. These guys will lock you down and punish every single mistake you make, especially when the players know how to use them.
Hippity-hoppity Callista. She's all over the place, which means this is really Callista's ability to hop versus Braum and Lucian's ability to poke. Their ability to put down damage at range just exceeds Callista's, period. The Piercing Light, the Braum Q, both of those abilities hit very hard, relatively speaking, for the amount of danger that those champions have to face. So Lord Merc and Pres V2 should be able to knock Talisman down a couple of health points. That said, Janna, if she's on point with those shields, if Callista's on point with her hops. Both of those things can really keep them safe. I would hope for Talisman and Angel's sake that they make it out of lane phase 5 to 10 CS behind. That would be their break-even condition. Obviously, if they get some jungle or mid lane pressure down there, they could turn it around. But like you said, very hard to do against a Braum and a Lucian. Those guys hit so hard.
Stick around, guys. We're about to load into game number 1 here in the Premier League semifinals between Never Clucky and Industrious Gaming. Stick with us. Welcome, everybody. We are live here on Summoner's Rift, and live is a word I use ever so loosely here at House Party 5v5. Start things off in style with the pause, but you're here with us. It's Never Clucky versus Industrious Gaming. This is a best-of-3 semi-final match to determine who's going to the grand final playoff 2 weeks from today. My name's Captain Flowers. I'm going to be casting this one along with Fury Golem. And Fury, tell me how you see this early game playing out. Who's going to get ahead? How are they going to do it?
It's got to be IG. Not because of the champions, but because there are 2 subs on Never Clucky. And if there's one thing that's really, really hard to do, it's connecting with your teammate who you've never played with before in the first 4 or 5 levels of the game. That's where you get a feel for how they play back and forth, how aggressive they are, how much you can rely on them to do certain things. You have to feel around that, and it makes making aggressive moves very, very hard. So the only place that I think Never Clucky pulls ahead here is either in the top early on, is either in the top lane, or if IG overcommits, if they like do a tower dive that goes horribly wrong, Never Clucky could pick something up off of that, but I don't expect them to play as aggressive as they might, and they are doing the 5-point defense against the 4-man invade of IG.
IG might actually be looking to make this one aggressive early on. We don't see nearly enough of this in House Party 5v5. We're probably just going to see this be an information invade, not a kill invade. They just want to drop these deeper wards down, find out exactly what's going on in terms of Clucky's starter strategy. They will be placing a ward down deep in between the inhibitor turret and tier 2 turret, making sure they're aware should a lane swap happen, and now they're just going to get themselves back out. Metal Gear Solid, get in, get out, nobody gets noticed, everybody goes home.
Bunches of wards all over the place. Rammus is already in lane, so I don't think those wards are going to pick up anything for IG, but at least they're on their toes. They have a plan. They're going in and they're executing it. They get out completely safe, and they get back to their lanes in time. This is going to be a topside start for Gordon Ramsay. He's going to opt into those Krugs as his first pickup. They might pick up Gromp bot lane for Lucian and Braum, get themselves a level advantage early on and try to bully out the Callista and the Janna, who actually appear to be going for Krugs for themselves.
And that's what's so important about these bot lane starts right now. That's what can make the absolute biggest difference in these lanes, is if one bot lane is able to actually start on a camp and the other one is not. Splash going very aggressive onto Holy Goose, even at level 1, using the power of the LeBlanc. But anyway, bottom lane, one lane starts a camp, the other lane doesn't. It's going to be a nightmare for the ones that didn't start the camp if the guys that did know what they're doing. Since both of them started, it will still be an even lane. Talisman going to jump around, do whatever he can, lay down some poke, and just keep your eyes on Lord Merc and Prez, because we talked in the lobby about Lucian and Braum and what these two are able to do, and we're going to have to make sure we're aware if they're able to pull that one off. They will hit level 2 before Talisman's got it, still only level 1. Prez looking to get up in their face, will not land Winter's Bite, and Talisman and his friend Angel walk away. Splash putting a whole lot of damage down onto Holy Goose. There's the charm. Splash gets himself away. Won't bother to drop the Ignite on that one. Doesn't want to go for the all-in just yet. Talisman trading aggressively with Merc once more. Prez trying to get himself away. The minion wave is not in their favor. They got to be careful about this one. Don't want to force the issue too hard. Talisman's going to eat Winter's Bite off the back of that one. They might still be looking to make the fight happen even further. Angel walking himself away. Those concussive blows will not proc. And everybody just sort of backs out.
Wow, there is a whole lot of ham on both sides of the aisle here. Mid lane and bot lane just wrecking each other. Both Splastronomical and Holy Goose dropped sub 30% there for a moment. And unfortunately for Holy Goose, he's the one who comes out with less mana. Splastronomical's still almost full, and they've healed up those health bars, which means all of the kill pressure is on LeBlanc's side. She's going to be able to harass Ahri out, frankly. Ahri does have decent auto attack range to be able to take those CS, but she can't get in there as reliably with LeBlanc constantly threatening to put the poke down.
Speaking of putting the poke down, that's one big problem with Lucian Braum. Although you're able to bully your opponents around, if you find yourself falling behind, all the damage that you take is going to stick. Braum doesn't have any way to heal Lucian up. Other than, of course, the Relic Shield. You're going to get a little bit of healing from that one. But at level 1, those stacks come so very slowly. It's once every 60 seconds, so the healing's not going to be super reliable. The damage that Talisman and Angel are able to put down, it's going to be difficult to actually shake off. Meanwhile, Angel's able to apply those shields to Talisman just like that. The Winter's Bite doesn't even break through, and Talisman's able to win out in the trade.
Definitely. Talisman and Angel showing me entirely wrong. Able to put down the pressure early on, despite not being typical teammates. They are going to be able to...
Blood, so easy. Doesn't even look like they needed any effort to accomplish it. Lord Merc's going to fall under his turret, and Talisman finds himself a nice early kill.
Wow. That is... that is a really, really nice pickup. Those guys absolutely demonstrating that. I don't know what the hell I'm talking about. They are dominating their lane. They are only 6 CS up at the moment, so it is basically just the kill at this point, but that is nothing to laugh at on an 80 carry. Back, pick up the Vamp Scepter and the boots, couple of biscuits for your trouble.
2v2 here in the mid lane, never frowns in a whole lot of trouble. Gordon Ramsay looks for the counter gang, able to find quite a lot of damage. The Ignite down, won't be able to take him out. Splash walks away, still ever so healthy enough at least to deal with an out-of-mana Ahri, and he's going to be able to take victory in this trade. Like I said, despite the fact that Holy Goose has the health advantage, the no-mana factor is really a huge one here in the Clash of the Mages mid lane. And for those of you who might not have seen exactly what happened bottom side because it was so very quick, the Janna combination of the Zephyr into the auto attack was able to find the kill because of the fact that Callista Mark procced, which gave the kill over to Talisman because of the proc damage, and that's what killed him under the turret. It happened just in a blink of an eye. They found it exactly where they needed to find it, and much like me, Lord Merc was not expecting that much damage.
If that was an intentional play on their part, then that is a truly glorious level of mechanics. More likely, it's one of those situations where you throw everything you have into it because you think it might work, and it does end up coming out in your favor. Nothing to sneeze at, though. Definitely. An advantage taken for them. They are evened up in CS, though, and Lord Merc and Pres V2 are still a very strong lane that they are not going to be able to easily bully around. Getting some wards in here by Gordon Ramsay. Wants plenty of vision of this area. I suspect to make sure that the Ahri roam down does not come through successfully against his bottom lane and make that disadvantage that they're currently at even more dramatic. Rammus has fallen behind a little bit in farm against the Fiora, but not nearly as dramatically as I would have expected given that matchup. Fiora's percent true damage is really nasty against tanks, and Rammus doesn't...
It's a fun and interactive mechanic. What are you talking about?
It's the most. Percent health true damage is just the best thing ever because you can totally stack something against it, right? Oh wait, armor doesn't work, health doesn't work. Oh, I guess you're just screwed.
Just have a good old fun time against Fiora there in the top lane. Splash able to find some damage onto Holy mid. Won't do a whole lot more. Despite the fact that we've got the one kill over onto the side of Clucky, it hasn't really afforded them a giant advantage. They're still only sitting at that extra 400 gold that you get from the first blood. And considering there was an assist on it as well, they're actually down a little bit other than the kill. If you take the kill off the board, the gold's going in the way of IG because of the fact those solo lanes are ahead in farm, albeit a very slight amount. Bot lane's the one that's going the way of Clucky. That's going to be where their carry potential is because Holy Goose and Hi I'm Nairb are currently not having the best of times against their lane opponents.
Gordon Ramsay going to opt into an invade here. He's going to be able to pick up this Gromp if he wants it, and the blue buff as well, because that Rek'Sai's all the way down in the bottom, never frown, looking for maybe a gank, but he's spotted out by this pink ward that I don't think he knows is there. Ah, he's got
Never
it.
Frown wants to look, make something potentially happen. Splash going in deep onto Holy Goose, seeing if he's able to make the kill happen. Ignite coming down from Holy. That's going to be the Ahri ultimate spent defensively to get himself away. Splash able to force that one out. It's going to be a summoner for nothing pretty much. And now Splash might have the opportunity to make that kill still happen. Flash is available on both mid laners. Low mana, decent health on the Ahri. Low health, decent mana on Splash. Either one could be able to find this outplay.
And Splash Tronomical still has enough health to stick around and pick up this CS under tower, which is really, really important. That was a big wave. If Holy Goose had been able to push Splash
Trouble here at the
Tronomical
top
out,
side. Fully noited, and Gordon Ramsay going to collapse onto high. I'm Nairb. He's not able to get away from the fun damage, and Gordon Ramsay sets things up. Noited's able to find himself a kill, and even this game up 1-1.
he's got the cleaver. Once you've got the Tiamat, that is a perfect item to get your jungler up there and help you out, because that is a whole lot of burst damage available to you. The Rammus has a lot of armor, double cloth armors. I think he only had one cloth armor and the chain vest at the time, but still, lots of armor there, but it's not going to help him out against the Gragas at all. And there's a whole lot of posturing around mid right now. This is not a game that is slow.
Setting up, realizing that either mid laner could fall at some point soon. Prez is going to jump in, throws the shield up backwards. Not exactly the way you want to see that one done. But Lord Merc has to sort of hobble himself away. He's not in any sort of condition to stay in this lane. He's going to have to get back. Gordon Ramsay looking to show up down here. Maybe they can set up a 3v2. But even in a 3v2, Talisman has such a health advantage over Lord Merc. It will still likely go the way of Never Clucky.
They're full health, and they're level 6. I mean, what are they really going to do against these guys bot lane? It would take a really glorious Gordon Ramsay ult, which he does have available. If they can ult them in under tower and maybe get turret aggro on them, it might work. But they can't do it on Angel because Callisto will just ult her out, so they have to get Talisman if they're going to make it work. Rek'Sai's there, though, on the other side, and given the way he's hovering, I think he knows they're there.
Pings coming out from both sides. People are aware of what's happening. We're seeing some potential rotation coming down from Splash as well. There's the Gordon Ramsay ultimate, just sort of going to jar Talisman off to the side. Won't do anything to actually put him under the turret. And now Talisman and Angel able to set up more damage on top of this one. Merc is way too scared, and rightfully so, to get anywhere near these guys. He realizes he could die very, very quickly again.
That said, Talisman's ult is down, so that's a lot of safety and engage both not available. It pretty much takes the turret dive off the table for these guys unless a big mistake is made by IG. If they try to dive right now, there's enough power to kill them pretty easily, I think. Gordon Ramsay's here. His ult isn't up, otherwise that would have been a very good moment to E in, ult back, and take them all out. This is a lot of hover around here in the bot lane for both these junglers. Going to fall behind a bit in farm. That's the price they pay for all of this pressure. Gordon Ramsay up a level over his opponent despite the similar CS.
Well, I guess you're not going to fall too much farther behind your counterpart when both of them are just going to sit there for the last 2 minutes or so. So nothing really going to happen. Everybody just kind of walks away at the end of the day. Gordon's going to remain under the turret to absorb that farm. And despite the fact that we're 11 minutes into this game so far, we have not seen a single objective get taken. We're going to see Never Clucky look to change that one. Gordon Ramsay forced to flash himself away. Angel's going to eat a whole lot of damage from that turret, a little bit more than he'd like to. Holy Goose and Splash trading blows back and forth, but again, not a whole lot going off here in the mid lane. No success anyway. 0-0 and 0 compared to 0-0 and 0. 1v1 topside, fully noited, looking to make the play happen with the repose. There comes Grand Challenge. Nairb trying to get himself away. That's way too many vitals to be able to outplay, at least for the time being. Fully noited under the turret. He's not able to find the kill, and that's Nairb with a flash under that protection to keep himself alive and bring Fully down.
That's, well, you know, sometimes you get lucky and your opponent goes really, really deep under tower with like 180 health, and then you drop them. That was a nice pickup for Nairb on the backside of a losing fight. 2-1 now in favor of Never Clucky, but they are still only 300 gold up despite the first blood advantage.
Holy Goose
and the second
kill onto Splash, tries to flash after it. Caster minions, do your job. No, you just can't quite do it. Splash gets himself away. Gordon Ramsay looking for follow-up onto Holy Goose, who is almost completely out of mana. The belly flop is down. Holy's trying to get himself away, but the fat man is here with a vengeance. Prez trying to jump away to his ally to make sure they're both able to stay safe. Talisman has that Bilgewater Cutlass, looking to pursue this one further. Low mana on Lord Merc, but not completely out just yet. He will have enough damage to force that threat onto Talisman and Angel and make them pop that ultimate once more.
Despite the constant fighting, still only 3 kills in this game at 12 minutes. That was a close save by Neverfrown, flashing in to knock up the Gragas, making sure Gordon Ramsay cannot get that kill on Holy Goose, who had just previously brought down Splash Tronomical to 22 health, almost finishing him with the Ignite and Caster Minion auto-attack combo. Talisman and Lord Merc going to keep beating each other up a little bit, but they don't do that much damage yet. Still at that point in the game where it's a BF sword versus a cutlass and a bow.
Nairb is starting to do some truly frightening damage to Fully Noited up here in the top side of the map. Despite the fact that Fully can still tank bust him with the power of those vitals, Nairb is not going to go down without a fight. Now, his CS is suffering a little bit. 79 compared to 98. Might be seeing some violence here in the bot lane. Looks like it's just a fluke. But now that he's got Thornmail, that's the first of many tank items that he's going to be churning out. And eventually, he's going to become nigh impossible to kill for anybody except Fully Noided.
He's Holy Goose Splastronomical posture again. Gordon Ramsay on the side to try and support his ally, but he's just going to give up. Maybe float around in the river for a little bit.
2v2 here in the bot lane. Talisman going to be knocked up into the air. There's the exhaust. Janna ultimate used to keep that 80 carry alive. Merc completely out of mana now. Won't be able to make this fight last any bit longer. Prez and Merc both get themselves away. Talisman low as well, but at the end of the day, Clucky wins the fight. The Janna ult provides enough healing to make sure of that one. And Talisman and Angel continue this aggression. These guys' foot has been on the gas pedal the entire game. Talisman trying to flash forward, be able to find that Ren kill. Won't quite be able to do it. Lord Merc quick on the trigger finger with the heal to make sure he keeps that support alive. Fully Noided and Nair both going to show up. Fully wants to grab the kill onto Talisman. Question is, can he do it? Answer's going to be no. Nair shuts him down with the power of the dawn. Gordon Ramsay's here as well. He only finds the ultimate onto Nair. Talisman was the mark, and he's not able to get it. Splash makes the rotation, and now Never Clucky is being hunted down. Nair and Angel both able to get themselves away. Talisman not quite. Angel so incredibly low, he sticks around just a little bit too long. He wastes the flash, and Merc's able to find the double kill. They even this game up 3-3.
Talisman's jukes were spectacular. He was at almost no health that entire time, and he was always just right on the edge of his opponent's AoE abilities, getting out over and over and over again, so that even though there was that massive number advantage, it almost looked like Angel was going to get out of there. Unfortunately, he held his flash too long and died for his sins. So 2 for 1 instead of what they really wanted. But at least they got the Fiora. Fully Noided drops 1, 2, and 1, picks up the cooldown boots, wants to be able to spam those abilities as much as he possibly can. I don't know what Never Frown is doing up there.
Very fast distortion on those cooldown boots as well. That flash and that teleport are going to be very, very, very low cooldown compared to what they'd normally be. Never Frown and Hi, I'm Nair looking to fight here against Fully Noided. Never Frown over the wall. He doesn't want anything else to do with that grand challenge. Gordon Ramsay rotates up in case they try to make the 2v1 happen. It won't be a 2v1 for long. They wisely back away, realize that's not the fight to take, and now we're going to see Gordon and Fully moving over towards the Rift Herald. They know that Frown can't take part in this fight, so that's just a free objective.
Easy, easy pickup, and I imagine they'll give it over to Fiora to help in this Rammus matchup. Rammus picking up as much farm as he can in the meantime, but once Fiora heads up there with that buff, she should be able to pretty freely trade with him. Yeah, he has a Thornmails, but so much of what Fiora does to him isn't so much about the physical damage, it's about the true damage.
The nice part for Rammus, though, is the fact that Grand Challenge is down for the next 55 seconds or so. So that is a sense of peace that he'll be able to find, that she's not able to just all in him whenever she wants. Merc going to take some more damage here in the bottom lane. 130 CS compared to 95. Talisman and Angel saying they've taken over this lane is an understatement.
They are 40 CS as a split between 80 carries when both 80 carries have 1 death is ridiculous. The amount of bullying coming out, and they're not the lane you'd expect to bully. Sure, Kalista Janna is a good lane, but against a Braum Lucian, you would expect the Braum and the Lucian to be doing the bullying. Both of these champions scale in terms of Kalista versus Lucian about equally well, but I have to say, I think Janna is slightly superior here in the long term. Braum has the ability to block skill shots, but there's not a huge amount of skill shots coming in from this team. He can block the abilities coming out from Holy Goose, but that's about it. Other than that, it's the auto attacks from Talisman. So much of what Never Clucky is drafted here is a bunch of melee beat you in the face types with the Rammus and the Rek'Sai that Braum can't peel those nearly as well as he can the longer range skill shot oriented champions.
Now, despite the fact that we're talking about the advantage that Talisman has over Lord Merc in the bottom half of the map, the game on its own is pretty much dead even. The gold difference you're seeing at the top of your screen is because of the fact that IG has 1 turret compared to 0. Take that thing off the board and everything is neck and neck. We're breaking into the 17-minute mark. we're getting to the point of this game where teams are going to start to look for bigger fights. They're going to start to look for more explosive opportunities. And the first team to find that's going to do a whole lot. Angel thrown into the fight. They're looking to make this one happen with the 3v2. Knock up in the air. Won't be able to connect too hard onto Prez. Here's the 3v3. Angel's got to be careful. He's in Merc's sights. Prez knocked back into the wall. He's looking like a pincushion with all those spears. Rin won't be successful. Talisman trying to get himself away. He's slammed the wall with the power cord Ramsey's ult. But now Gragas is the one who's about to fall. Talisman picks him up, and that is going to be a 1-for-0, going away of Never Clucky.
At this point, Talisman's ability to stay alive at really low health is reaching pretty epic proportion. That is twice in a row now. Last time he did end up falling to massively superior numbers and just overwhelming auto attacks, but he has been able to position him so well, and if you're playing Kalista and you can position well, that is the perfect combination of skill and champion working together to bring you the success you need, bringing their team up to 4-3, and should be able to pick up this first Dragon no contest.
Dragon number 1 not dropped until 18 minutes into the game. Nobody cared until now, but that nice little damage boost will do them a favor the next time they decide to have that fight break out. Talisman 3-1-0, quick feet, quick reactions. The dude is all over the place. This is his game to shine, and he's going to be the person that the entire Never Clucky team is rallying behind to win this game.
He really is. IG, however, has really got two solid solo laners. Splashonomical and Fully Noited are both really good players, and they're players who are doing relatively well for themselves. Right now, Splashonomical is sitting down about 4 CS against his lane opponent, but he's getting to that power spike where he's going to be able to roam and drop carries. Now, he has to be able to get Talisman. Splashonomical is their savior against Talisman. If they can get a root down on Kalista, that negates so much of her ability to avoid damage. Pin her to the ground, kill her, and the damage potential from Never Clucky drops through the floor.
That's going to be turret number 2 going down now on the side of IG. Clucky picks themselves up another objective, going to take a 1,500 gold lead off the back of that one. Now they've got Angel, Talisman, and Holy Goose all in the same place. These guys pose a whole lot of threat potential. Holy Goose is able to find the charm. The follow-up tornado into all of Talisman's damage is surely going to be a kill. They're rotating up top. They've only got one tier 1 left to take. They might as well just address that right here, right now, as all of IG looks to rotate up and stop that plan in its tracks.
5v5 under tower at 20 minutes. This is a little bit risky by Never Clucky, but they've got such an advantage in the rotation that they pick it up without any problems. As long as they don't overstay and get greedy here, just walk away, good.
Clucky gets themselves away. Nobody going to be willing to dive into that one to try to pick them off from IG. So Clucky's got a 2k gold advantage. Only 1 kill going their way. They've got the 1 dragon advantage as well. So they're in a good spot. Not in a great spot, but they're in a good spot. They just got to continue to play to those advantages and make sure that they're keeping Talisman alive. As long as they provide him that VIP service, that protect the important guy on the team quality, they're going to be able to win these fights.
Early game, and up until this point, essentially, Never Clucky has been having an advantage in bot lane, but that's all they've had. They had the 40 CS, but they didn't have anything anywhere else, and they've done a slick job of moving that bottom lane power into other lanes, getting towers for it, picking up all 3 outers, and whoa!
Kill potential coming down fully. Noid is going to melt away from that one. Can't deal with Nairb like that, and Rammus picks up his 2nd kill of the game.
I have to admit, when I first saw the Rammus pick, having avoided it in solo queue, I was skeptical. But especially against Fiora's % health true damage, but it's showing up great here. He's 10 CS down, sure, but if you can solo kill a Fiora, you're golden. Like any champion, doesn't matter which one. If you're in a position,
Rammus top is meta, Fury.
Because he just kills people. Why is Rammus an assassin now? Why is he a duelist assassin? When did this happen? He has been like a tier 4 pick for as long as I can remember. There are no changes to his build. The only change that I can think of is Sunfire Cape, which now deals extra damage to minions, which isn't like that much better for dueling. I guess the nerfs to Fiora were enough.
He's still going to be this massive threat in the middle of the fights. With Sunfire Cape and Thornmail, nobody except for Gragas and LeBlanc is going to be able to hurt him. And if all your LeBlanc burst is being blown on Rammus, you suddenly don't really have that great of an answer for Talisman, and the whole team is going to be filled with spears before you know it. So Ramus is sitting in a really nice spot. Nairb is doing wonderfully coming out of that lane. He's only 10 CS behind fully noted Fiora, who, despite the fact that he is ahead in farm, is only 1-3-1 in KDA. Angel trying to get himself away from that culling. Splash, Prez, fully. Everybody looking to follow up. Gordon's going to be taunted before he's able to find that explosive cast. Nairb looking for the taunt, not able to find it. Prez with a good flash, keeping himself alive. All of IG getting themselves back from this fight. Never Clucky's taking the advantage because of the fact that Gordon's so low, because of the fact that Prez is down to about half health. They're not able to stand here and build a coherent defense effort, and it looks like Never Clucky's going to look to push for T2.
And they have plenty of peel to be able to just stand back and wail on this thing as Talisman with no danger of being engaged on by their opponents. That is one of the major disadvantages to the comp drafted by IG. Their engage is pretty much all Gragas ult. If they don't get a good Gragas ult in, they don't have a whole lot of ability to get into a team. Splash Phenomenal, if he were ahead, could be able to put out some poke and damage that way, but it's just not happening here. However, Clucky's a little too far up in the top lane.
Little too far up. Looks like they're going to be able to find a couple kills. Fully noted, trying to get himself away. The heal keeps him alive. Lord Merc doing wonders, keeping those teammates going. But Splash Phenomenal falls. Prez about to fall as well. That's going to be Lord Merc dropping. The remaining two are still barely alive. Talisman chucks Angel in. Gordon Ramsay, goodbye, Chef. Triple kill. Talisman's Callista is off the freaking charts. 9-3 Never Clucky. They're going to break the T2. They're going to break the T3. And ladies and gentlemen, they might just go for Baron instead.
These guys are running away with the game. Relatively slow start, lots of people beating each other up, but not a lot of kills. A little bit of a CS advantage taken by Never Clucky in the bot lane, and they just snowball it out of control. Talisman is on fire. It doesn't matter that his support is a substitute. He is destroying this game, and everyone else on Never Clucky is pulling their weight. Never Frown has been the weakest link for his team, but he's a support playing jungle, and he's still 1-0-3. When your worst performer is 1-0-3, it's a very, very good day for your team.
Talisman and Pals are showing that they have no mercy in this game. I love the fact that they took the tier 2 turret middle, they rotate top, and they continue to pressure their advantage. So many times in Premier League and Minor League and just these games in general, we see teams sort of stall out. They'll grab something, they'll say, okay guys, good job, let's go farm wolves and clear lanes, and we'll think about what to do afterwards. Not Never Clucky. Never Clucky goes for the jugular. These guys will not let up. Once they have the advantage, once they recognize that, they're going to push it, and they're going to find Nexus ASAP. Now looking for Dragon number 2. Baron's already been picked up. 1 T2 left standing on the map. The minion wave is already down there. Look for these guys to rotate over and continue this push.
Easy Dragon 2. The tower burn isn't going to help them that much because it's basically just going to be them walking up and killing towers at this point. Nice try to engage, but not quite close enough.
Goodbye, Prez. Might as well pick him off for free. That's going to be one support out of the Victor. Fully noted splash, knocked up into the air. Never Frown's able to find that, but they won't grab a kill off the back of it. Never Clucky's found their 1 for nothing, and now they got a 5v4 for the next 20 seconds or so. That's going to be the tier 2 falling. Tier 3 might be able to survive long enough for Prez to come back, but Culling cannot clear away those Baron minions fast enough. 5th turret of the game, 6th turret of the game, excuse me, gonna fall now. IG trying to find a way to defend, but what can you do when you're 10,000 gold behind, when Talisman's 6-1? He's got Mercurial Scimitar. You can't even catch him out anymore. He's just gonna continue pouring damage into the turret time after time after time. Everybody from IG frantically scrambling to get themselves in a position to defend this one, but Fury, I don't know if they're able to at this point.
It would be a really difficult play. Now, we do have reached the point where Never Clucky is trying to get into the base, but whoa!
Goodbye. That's going to be all she wrote. The charm lands, and fully noted is 6 feet under. Tier 3 is going to fall in the bottom lane. The inhibitor is going to follow shortly thereafter. Holy Goose dashing in, trying to find the damage he needs to make that more than one pickup. Lord Merc's so very low, he's not able to fight without healing up first. Splash Astronomical almost dead. Talisman looking for that one. When's the last time you saw the 80 carry look to 100 to 0 to LeBlanc? That's going to be Nexus turret number 1 about to fall. Nexus turret number 2 is going to go down shortly thereafter. And ladies and gentlemen, in not even 30 minutes, Never Clucky shows they want that ticket to the grand final. They take down IG 1-0, and that is going to be the start of a beautiful series for them.
That's got to be a really good feeling heading into a best of 3. Winning a game that decisively feels good. Winning a game that decisively as a prelude to your next games is just perfect. You can go into the next game feeling really good. You want to win it, but if you don't win it, you've still got one more try. All they have to do is pick up one more game, and they will be moving on to the finals. Never Clucky with a fantastic game closing.
That was awesome to see. Clucky has got to be on cloud 9 coming out after that one. They're ready to go. They're ready to go into game number 2, seal this sucker away 2-0. IG's got to rally themselves, figure out what they did wrong, figure out how to fix it, figure out how to answer Talisman's carry potential, because if they don't win this next game, they're going home. Stay tuned, everybody. We'll be back with the next game here in 10 to 15 minutes, and hopefully it's going to be awesome.